TIAN X Science is where science meets the unknown. And my name's TIAN. I'm from China.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like if, 50,000 years ago, a supercontinent truly existed in the middle of the Pacific Ocean? Legend says this continent was larger than all of South America, home to 64 million people, with 7 colossal cities, and possessed technology that remains inexplicable to this day. Then, in a single night, the entire continent vanished. Its name was the continent of Mu. But the truly bizarre part isn't the sinking of the continent itself. It's that later, someone stepped forward and claimed to know exactly how the people of Mu once lived. In the 19th century, one man almost single-handedly turned the entire academic world upside down. His name was James Churchward. In 1926, this British author published a series of 3 books: The Lost Continent of Mu, The Children of Mu, and The Sacred Symbols of Mu. What was truly shocking was that these were not ordinary novels. In them, he claimed to have discovered the true origin of humanity. It all began during his military service in India. While serving in the Indian Army, Churchward befriended a high-ranking and respected Hindu priest. But this relationship soon became extraordinary. One day, the priest showed him something top secret: a few ancient tablets. The tablets were covered in inscriptions of an indecipherable language. Churchward couldn't understand a word, but after he agreed to help restore and preserve these sun-scorched clay tablets, the priest finally began to teach him how to read this mysterious language, the Naacal-Mayan language. When Churchward was finally able to read the texts, he felt he had found the true holy grail of human history. The tablets stated that all of humanity originated from a single place, the continent of Mu. Churchward even wrote directly in his book, man's first home was the continent of Mu. But the most incredible part is that he didn't stop there. Based on the tablets, Churchward began to describe the continent of Mu in great detail, even mapping out its surrounding islands and cities. But what truly sent shockwaves through the academic community was his next claim. Churchward publicly declared that the Mu civilization was more advanced than our modern one. He wrote, "In many respects, their world was superior to our civilization today. And as you continue to read, you'll find that the truly unbelievable things are just beginning. As you delve deeper into the so-called ruins of Mu, you'll find that some things genuinely make you start to wonder." According to Churchward, Mu was home to countless incredible buildings and landmarks, with descriptions so fantastic they sound like something out of science fiction. But here's the problem: can ancient clay tablets, passed by a single Hindu priest, really be enough to make anyone believe that humanity originated from the continent of Mu? Normally, of course not. A theory of this magnitude couldn't possibly be accepted based on one person's testimony. But for Churchward, the story wasn't over. Another piece of evidence later emerged, and this time things took an even stranger turn. In 1921, about 50 years after Churchward met the Hindu priest, a man named William Niven discovered the first set of mysterious stone tablets near San Miguel, Mexico. Eventually, the number of similar tablets found exceeded 100. At first, the archaeologist was thrilled with his discovery, but a problem quickly arose. The language on the tablets was so complex that no one could read it. He consulted numerous translators, but in the end, only one person could decipher them. That person was James Churchward. In an even more striking coincidence, the tablets Niven found were written in the exact same ancient language, Naacal-Mayan. This led many to seriously question, could these tablets truly be relics left behind by the descendants of Mu? But it gets even stranger. Churchward didn't just present the tablets. He tried to prove that if Mu truly existed as a highly advanced civilization, it must have left indelible traces on Earth. So he turned his gaze to the entire Pacific Ocean. According to his theory, Mu was located in the center of the Pacific, and the mysterious ruins scattered around it were likely all connected to its civilization. The most famous of these are the statues of Easter Island. These giant Moai statues, located on the remote Pacific island, almost all feature massive human faces, gazing silently into the distance. They were built by the Rapa Nui people, and the strangest part is that many of these statues only have their heads visible above ground. Their bodies, buried beneath the earth, are several times larger than their heads. What is truly unsettling is the engineering prowess they display. Just by looking at them, you can tell they were not casually assembled. The methods used to carve, transport, and erect them are still debated today. More importantly, the Rapa Nui people said they built these statues to honor their ancestors. But that raises the question, who exactly were these ancestors? Churchward believed they were likely the survivors of the civilization of Mu. If we zoom out even further, you'll find another, even more mysterious phenomenon across the globe. Pyramids. From Egypt to Mesoamerica and all around the world, similar pyramidal structures appear time and again. What's even stranger is that despite being separated by vast distances and built in completely different eras, their overall structure and style share an astonishing similarity. To this day, many engineering experts cannot fully explain why ancient civilizations in different corners of the world suddenly and simultaneously developed such massive and complex architectural technology. Churchward offered a direct answer: the Mu civilization. In his view, the origin of all this advanced architecture was that one lost super-civilization. But according to the clay tablets, this civilization ultimately met its doom. In a single night, the birthplace of humanity was completely erased, the entire continent disappearing in an instant. It sounds insane, but that's precisely why so many people began to wonder. If the continent of Mu really existed, what was life there actually like? Imagine if one day you woke up and suddenly found yourself on the continent of Mu. What would that feel like? This is your first morning on Mu. You open your eyes and stretch, just like any other day, but in the next second, you realize something is wrong. It feels as if you're not the only living thing in the room. The walls around you are emitting a strange, faint glow. You instinctively wonder what they're made of, but that question is quickly overshadowed by the scene before you. As you step out of the room, you realize it's not just your room. The entire world outside feels alive. You soon discover the walls aren't made of ordinary stone. They look like volcanic rock but feel completely different to the touch. Warm, with an eerie, lifelike quality. According to the legends of Mu, these building materials were treated with a special frequency, enabling them to channel the Earth's own natural energies. The result? The entire building is a piece of technology. During the hottest part of the day, the interior remains cool. When the temperature drops at night, the walls slowly radiate heat. There are no flames, no fuel, and no climate control systems in the modern sense. Yet the house regulates its own temperature as if it were a living organism. As you step onto the street, you notice something else that's odd. There are no roads, at least not in the way you understand them. The city is crisscrossed by smooth stone pathways that undulate like waves between the buildings. At first glance, they seem chaotic, but you soon realize these paths all follow a specific underlying pattern. According to the lore of Mu, these roads were all built upon the principles of sacred geometry, a design passed down through generations of Mu's engineers. Even stranger, as you walk through the city, you begin to feel a change within yourself. The stress, anxiety, and fatigue from the day before are slowly melting away, replaced by a state of exceptional mental clarity. The legends explain that the people of Mu didn't build their cities merely for shelter. They designed every street, every building, and every public space with the purpose of enhancing one's physical and spiritual well-being. Simply put, they believed the city itself could alter human consciousness. And that's not even the most astonishing part. As you continue walking, you see structures that would baffle modern engineers. These buildings look as if they were carved directly from a single, massive piece of rock. There are no seams, no joints, no rough edges. Every surface is impossibly smooth, flowing together as naturally as liquid. How did they do it? According to the technological descriptions from the legends, the Naakals didn't cut stone with hammers and chisels. They used specific frequencies to alter the density of the rock, making it temporarily soft. They would then mold it by hand before allowing it to harden again. But just as you're trying to process this, something else catches your eye. The people, so-called Naakals. They are completely different from any humans you've ever seen. According to Churchward's book, they stood between 12 and 15 feet tall, nearly 4 to 5 meters. Standing next to them, you would feel like a dwarf. Their skin is a deep, brownish yellow, almost like mahogany. They have prominent jawlines, and their eyes, though not large, are incredibly sharp and set wide apart. In this moment, you realize you haven't just arrived in an advanced civilization. You've entered a world that might not be entirely human. Your curiosity, however, doesn't fade. It intensifies. You begin to walk toward the city center, and there, you behold the very core of the Muyu civilization, the Crystal Temple. But it's nothing like a modern temple. This isn't a place of worship. It's more like the civilization's central power station. The entire structure is built around an impossibly large quartz crystal that seems to extend directly from deep within the earth. You can feel it before you even see it, a low, deep hum that resonates in your chest. The legends say this crystal could channel electromagnetic energy from the Earth's core and distribute it throughout the city. When you finally step inside the temple, the sight is almost suffocating. The walls shimmer with a purple and blue glow, and countless smaller crystals are arranged in precise geometric patterns, each one seemingly tuned to a different frequency. Naacal technicians move among them, adjusting their positions and calibrating their resonance. This place no longer feels like mythology. It feels like something far beyond the comprehension of modern civilization. The blinding white walls, cold lighting, and oppressive atmosphere of a modern hospital are non-existent on Mu. That's because the place before you is Mu's Crystal Temple. And in addition to providing energy, it was said to be the civilization's primary healing center. The healing begins the moment you step inside. The entire temple is part of the therapeutic system. The stones used for the walls were believed to be tuned to specific frequencies, and the interior is filled with sacred geometric patterns, said to soothe the nervous system. The air is filled with the scent of natural flora, used to balance one's mental state. There's no intimidating medical feeling here. Instead, it's like a space designed for complete relaxation. The healers who greet you are entirely different from modern doctors. They don't just understand the body. They believe that the body, consciousness, and soul are intrinsically connected. So, there are no blood tests, X-rays, or instrumental scans. The healers directly observe a person's energy field. In their view, illness is not merely a physical problem, but a disturbance in the energy structure surrounding the human body. They can see where there are blockages, where the flow is too rapid, and where it has become stagnant. Only after these issues are identified does the real treatment begin. Sonic frequency resonance. This is the core of the Mu civilization's medical system. It sounds like something from a science fiction movie, but in the legends of Mu, it was considered a real and existing form of medicine. But crystal healing is just one of this civilization's most incredible aspects. As you venture deeper into the continent of Mu, you begin to discover more technologies that are almost beyond comprehension. Take transportation, for example. Although the Naacals are enormous, they don't travel everywhere on foot. They have transport vehicles designed specifically for their size. But the truly unbelievable part isn't the vehicles themselves, but their power source. These vehicles are not powered by fuel or electricity. As you watch, a massive transport pod glides silently past you. It floats in mid-air, a few feet off the ground, with no wheels, no jets, and none of the propulsion systems you're familiar with. It moves with a quiet suspension, as if gravity has no effect on it. According to the legends of Mu, they had mastered anti-gravity technology thousands of years ago. Their scientists used precisely tuned crystal arrays to create an energy field that could counteract Earth's gravitational pull. Thus, they had a transportation system that was fuel-free, pollution-free, and completely silent. But what truly makes you question reality comes next. Just as you are beginning to accept all of this, you hear of something even more astounding. Some Naacals don't even need vehicles. According to the records of Mu, certain high-level adepts could alter their own vibrational frequency to disappear from one location and reappear in another, sometimes hundreds of kilometers away. Just as you're left speechless by these revelations, you suddenly realize your phone is gone. No, to be more precise, no one here needs a phone. On Mu, there are no telephones. Even letter writing is almost non-existent. As you continue to observe your surroundings, you notice something even stranger. The Naacals rarely speak to one another, yet they communicate flawlessly, as if they can directly read each other's thoughts. Modern people would call this ability telepathy. It sounds mystical, even magical, but in the records of Mu, it wasn't a supernatural phenomenon. Instead, they considered it a trainable skill. According to the texts, the people of Mu began learning from a young age how to project their thoughts and receive the conscious information of others. Initially, they could only do this over short distances, but with constant practice, masters could even communicate across continents. And just before you can fully grasp this concept, you witness it firsthand. Two Naakals stand hundreds of meters apart. One projects a complex equation into their mind, and the other receives it almost instantly and begins to calculate. The entire exchange happens without a single word. On Mu, this ability fostered a very unique civilization. When everyone can perceive each other's thoughts, lying becomes nearly impossible, and misunderstandings are rare. It is replaced by an incredibly strong sense of empathy, because you can truly feel what others are feeling. At the same time, this means the concept of privacy is completely different from that of the modern world. From a young age, Naakals learned how to shield their thoughts, creating mental barriers to keep truly private ideas to themselves, while only allowing information they were willing to share to be transmitted. After a brief period of adjusting to all this, you begin to shift your focus from these surreal abilities to the ordinary daily life on Mu. If you were an average resident of Mu, what would your day be like? In the morning, you aren't woken by an alarm clock but by the room gradually brightening with the dawn. Your house automatically adjusts with the rising sun, the walls slowly warming to wake you in the most comfortable way possible. Breakfast comes directly from your personal in-home food cultivation system. You would see plants growing in soil enhanced with special frequencies, and the water used to irrigate them is believed to carry beneficial vibrations. According to the lore of Mu, this food is not just a source of nutrition. It has healing properties. This is why the people of Mu were said to have powerful anti-aging abilities. The food they ate each day was practically tailored for their bodies. After your meal, you go to work. But on Mu, work is not the forced labor for survival seen in modern society. The Naakals believed that everyone is born with a unique purpose. From childhood, they were guided to discover their natural talents and continuously train them. Some became crystal technicians, others healers, farmers, artists, or teachers. Here, work was considered a sacred service. The legends also describe Mu as a society without poverty or homelessness, as all resources were shared equally. When everyone's needs were met, greed itself became meaningless. The afternoons and evenings were dedicated to learning and community. People gathered to share knowledge, discuss ideas, or engage in spiritual practices. This was daily life on Mu: meaningful work, continuous learning, and a community that truly nourished its people. What's truly remarkable is that Mu was not an isolated civilization. According to ancient texts, the Naakals maintained contact with the entire world. Their navigators had reportedly mapped the globe long ago, and they didn't rely on conventional compasses. They navigated by reading the Earth's energy grid, finding electromagnetic pathways between sacred sites. Their ships, too, were marvels of technology. Built from special materials that resisted saltwater corrosion, they were powered by crystal energy and required almost no refueling. As you trace their routes, you find they traveled to many places. Egypt, for instance, where, according to Churchward's theory, the people of Mu likely planted the seeds of Egyptian civilization. They also visited India, where Vedic culture absorbed Naakal knowledge, and even traveled to China, Mongolia, and across the Pacific to the Americas. What they exported to the world was not goods, but knowledge. Agriculture, astronomy, architecture, and spiritual philosophy. They sought to spread their civilization across the globe. This raises a question. If all of this is false, why do so many ancient civilizations, which should have had no contact with one another, share so many astonishing similarities? Take pyramids. Egypt has them, Mexico has them, China has them, and so does Peru. Even more strangely, they all seem to follow similar geometric principles, and many are precisely aligned with celestial bodies. Or consider the flower of life pattern, a sacred geometric symbol found not only in the Temple of Osiris in Egypt but also in China's Forbidden City and India's Ajanta caves. Separated by thousands of years and vast oceans, these cultures consistently exhibit an inexplicable sense of connection. This has led many to wonder, is this all just a coincidence? Or did these civilizations share a common origin? And if that isn't compelling enough, there is another, even more mysterious parallel: the Great Flood myth. It appears in nearly every ancient civilization. The Sumerians had it, the Hebrews had it, the Greeks, the Indians, the Chinese, even the legends of Native Americans contain similar accounts. What if none of this is a coincidence? Could this be the reason why ancient civilizations, separated by oceans and seemingly disconnected, share such similar architecture, myths, and symbols? But no matter how glorious the legend, all civilizations eventually come to an end. And the destruction of Mu is said to have been more terrifying than any other. As you immerse yourself in the incredible technology and order of Mu, you also begin to witness firsthand how this great civilization crumbled. It all started very slowly. One day, a faction emerged within the Naacal society that questioned the old order. They began to ask, why should all power be shared equally? Why shouldn't the stronger rule the world? And so, a once peaceful civilization began to change. Some started using crystal technology for purposes forbidden by ancient edicts. They pushed the limits of energy, attempting to create frequency-based weapons. Weapons that could shatter rock or even stop a heart from beating. The ancient masters issued constant warnings. The earth itself is a living being. If you continue to push these boundaries, there will be consequences. But they refused to listen. Many legends claim this was the true beginning of Mu's downfall. It started in the hearts of its people. The civilization, once defined by order and technology, began to lose its balance. Disputes erupted over resources, power, and control. As you watch this unfold, you realize the scene is eerily similar to our world today. The frightening part is that many civilizations, on the brink of collapse, are often completely unaware of their own destruction until it's too late. Then, the earth began to respond. Massive earthquakes struck repeatedly. Dormant volcanoes awakened, and thunderstorms raged with increasing frequency. The masters gave their final warning. We have broken our covenant with the earth. The planet will correct this imbalance itself. Those who wish to live, leave now. A portion of the population chose to leave. Ships set sail for all corners of the world, some to Egypt, some to the Mayan territories, some to India, and others across the ocean to Polynesia. They carried with them not just survivors, but the embers of their civilization. But most chose to stay. And then the day finally came. The flood waters rose and the land collapsed. In a single night, the continent of Mu vanished. 64 million people disappeared without a trace. The entire supercontinent, with its advanced civilization and technology, sank completely beneath the sea. But the question remains, did Mu truly disappear completely? Or does it continue to exist in a different form? Consider the Easter Island statues, the ruins of Nan-Madol, and the world's megalithic structures. Could these be the traces left behind by the Mu civilization? More importantly, if the destruction of Mu was truly caused by a civilization that pushed beyond nature's boundaries, are we, humanity today, repeating the same path? As technology spirals out of control, resources are overdrawn, and nature falls out of balance, are we too heading toward our own Mu moment? The fall of the Mu continent, whether a forgotten puzzle piece of history or merely a fading myth, serves as a profound mirror reflecting our very own reality. Over thousands of years, humanity has made extraordinary leaps. We have artificial intelligence, spaceships, and a global internet network. But let's pause for a moment and ask ourselves, are we truly happier, or are we becoming increasingly isolated, stressed, and exhausted? Just like the Naacal people in the twilight of their civilization. When greed takes over, and when we abuse technology to deplete resources and shatter the balance of nature, we are essentially writing our own end. The most profound lesson the story of Mu leaves us with is this: material and technological progress become meaningless, even dangerous, if it is not paralleled by an evolution in consciousness and compassion. If we lose our deep connection with Mother Earth and our empathy for one another, humanity might just pull the trigger on its own civilization once again. Of course, Everything you've watched in today's video is based on theories. It's a narrative that I've synthesized, connected, and analyzed from a personal perspective to offer you a fresh lens on human history. Now, I really want to hear from you. What do you guys think about this story? Was the continent of Mu, with its surreal technology, a genuine reality of our ancient past, or is it nothing more than a well-crafted piece of fiction? There is no absolute right or wrong here, only diverse perspectives. So please, share your thoughts freely in the comment section below. And by the way, from which city or country around the world are you watching this video right now? Drop a comment so I can see how far our community has reached. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to TIAN Science so we can continue unraveling the world's greatest mysteries together. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.